Pictures of walking across the Golden Gate Bridge and other pictures from my trip in May of 2012 that I want to show you today. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And I've got lots of fun pictures to show you today. So this today is a video that's part 2 of a video that I think I posted in May of this year, 2025. Where I showed you the pictures that I took of the 75th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge and the big fireworks show that happened. But when I was on that trip, I also took a whole bunch of other pictures during the day and around the city that I want to show you in this video. And the big thing I want to show you is walking across the Golden Gate Bridge and show you the pictures of that experience. I've only walked across the Golden Gate Bridge maybe 3 times, I think. First in 1996 when I first moved to San Francisco, and then some other time when I had to do photography assignments. Sometimes I went to the Golden Gate Bridge and took pictures there. And then this time in 2012, I walked across the Golden Gate Bridge all the way to the north side and then came back. And it is always a majestic, amazing, profound experience. There's nothing mild or there's nothing mild about walking across the Golden Gate Bridge. It's just triumphant. The structure of it, the towers, the color, the reddish color of the bridge is bright, and there's sailboats, and there's Alcatraz, there's helicopters flying under the bridge and over the bridge taking tourists, and there's tourists and lots of people walking across the bridge, and there's cargo ships and military ships passing under the bridge. I mean, it's just, there's all kinds of stuff going on at the bridge. It's spectacular. And just the fact that they built that bridge back in the 30s and it's still standing today and it's still magnificent. It's just, the Golden Gate Bridge is one of my favorite things in life, and I love to photograph it from all kinds of different angles. It's just fantastic. So, I want to take you on the experience of walking across the Golden Gate Bridge. This, again, was the 75th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge. So before the fireworks show, I think either that morning or the day before, I walked across the bridge during the day. But I was learning a new kind of photography at the time, and it's called HDR, and it stands for High Dynamic Range. And what I love about this photography is what you do is you take a picture of the same scene, 3 different exposures, or sometimes 5. You take a picture where you overexpose the scene, then another picture where it's the correct exposure, and then you underexpose the scene in another shot. And then in the HDR software, you combine all the pictures together to create one picture, and everything just pops. It's like a fantasy picture. It's like a cartoon. It just, everything is just emphasized. I mean, you have the lightest lights and the darkest darks, and the middle part is just emphasized. And I also, on this particular picture, I put a polarizing filter on the camera, so it takes the shine off the water and you can see deeply into the water. So you have the HDR photography going on, and then you have the polarizer film, and everything in this picture just popped. I mean, look at the water and look at those clouds. It's just amazing. And, you know, the regular picture is cool too, but man, I just love the HDR. And so when I was walking across the Golden Gate Bridge this time, I took a lot of pictures with multiple exposures so I could put them all in the HDR software and get, you know, these really cool HDR pictures. So I hope you don't mind HDR, because a lot of these pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge are gonna have the HDR style. So it's really cool because it really makes the texture of the bridge and everything around it kind of pop off the screen, and I just love it. So let's take a walk. The experience of walking across the Golden Gate Bridge, it's very windy and it can be chilly sometimes, so bring layers. Sometimes it's foggy, sometimes it's really sunny, and you never know if there's going to be a lot of people or just some people. There's people on bicycles, there's people walking, there's people jogging, and I thought, you know, that would be amazing to live near the bridge and jog across and back across the bridge once a day. I mean, what is that? It's what, a mile or something across the bridge? I did this Instagram video where I thought it would be fun to measure things in hot dogs instead of miles and inches and feet. And so instead of saying that the Golden Gate Bridge is 8,981 feet long, it would be fun to say that the Golden Gate Bridge is 17,962 hot dogs long. Which it would. I think it would be fun to measure things in hot dogs. Anyway, so it'd be fun to jog across the Golden Gate Bridge and back, and man, that'd be great. You get a good workout, you get a beautiful view, and man, to do that every day, I should have done that. But it was too far away. No, I couldn't have done that while I lived there. Unless you live right next to the Golden Gate Bridge, it would be difficult to do that. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I'll continue talking about the Golden Gate Bridge. So anyway, you're walking across the Golden Gate Bridge. I've never been nervous walking across the Golden Gate Bridge. The height has never bothered me. I think because I've always been so preoccupied with my camera in finding the best way to photograph the bridge. Because there's so many different ways to photograph the bridge. I mean, you could fart. You could fart. Sorry. Anyway. Anyway, so you can photograph the bridge from far away, or close up, or under, or over, or just these crazy different angles, and you could photograph it walking along. There's just so many different ways to photograph this beautiful bridge. And so I guess the height doesn't bother me. It probably bothers me, you know, in a building or some other place. But the Golden Gate Bridge has never bothered me walking across there. And so I'm just so busy finding these cool shots. And with the HDR, it makes it even cooler, because then I got to set up the tripod, or I could try to hold the camera really still and take 3 different exposures. So click, 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 because the longer exposure is the brighter one. And so I'm finding all these really cool ways to photograph it. And I was noticing different parts of the bridge that I never even noticed before. Like there was a plaque honoring the 25th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge. And then, you know, there were these really cool lights that light up the bridge at night. Those look really cool. And, you know, trying to get these really cool compositions where I think the Sutro Tower is in one shot, where I frame it in a certain way on the bridge, and then photographing the sailboats that are underneath the bridge. And man, I'm just so happy to have a good time photographing the bridge that I just don't worry about the height at all. And you've got the Marin Hills, and you've got Fort Point underneath the bridge, and you walk over to Sausalito, and then you've got the lighthouse underneath the bridge and the Bay of Sausalito there. And of course, you've got the skyline of San Francisco out there beyond the bay, and that's the big, beautiful view that I really wanted to photograph. And then you also have, of course, the surfers that are underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. And I never really hear the surfers talked about that much. I mean, I remember the first time that I walked under the bridge and I saw these people surfing underneath the bridge, and I thought, that's amazing. I've never known that they do that. And, you know, part of me wants to kind of try it sometime, but man, that water's got to be really cold. And they're wearing the wetsuits, and it just looks dangerous. And I would probably never surf underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, but it looks really cool. So, you know, I am in awe of anyone who's ever done it. So when you walk across the Golden Gate Bridge, you get to the north side, and there's this view area where tourists and the tourist buses stop, and everybody takes pictures of all the bridge, and then the view of the bay, and then the San Francisco skyline, and it's just an amazing area to see everything. And as I was standing there, this military ship passed underneath the bridge spraying water, and it was just like coincidence that I was there at that moment when it happened. And it's just, that was really cool. You know, so much of photography is just coincidence of stuff happening and being there at the right time to photograph it. And so I got these cool shots on the north side in the view area. And then I walked across the Golden Gate Bridge again, going back the other direction. And gosh, how long did it take? I don't know. It must have taken, it was probably 3 hours to walk across the bridge and come back. And yeah, and then I was able to walk down to the road that's underneath the bridge that goes to Fort Point, and joggers from the marina jog from the marina down the road. They get to Fort Point, and on the chain link fence, I don't know if it's there anymore, there was a sign with 2 palm prints on the chain link fence, and joggers would jog along the road to the bridge, get to Fort Point underneath the bridge, and they would put their hands on the sign that had the palm prints. You know, I've completed this trek, and now I'm going to jog back to the marina, or whatever part of San Francisco they were from. And so that palm, you know, pretty unsanitary, maybe. But anyway, that was there. And then they would jog back, and that would be a good jog too, if I was a jogger. Anyway, so I think originally they wanted to paint the Golden Gate Bridge black and yellow, like a bumblebee or something like that. But this was back in the 1937 when they were building the bridge. But they put this orange primer on the bridge, or reddish orange, rust color, and everybody loved that color so much that they said, no, don't paint the other colors, keep it orangish rust red. And so that's how it remained for all these years. And I think it looks fantastic, you know. I've always loved photographing the bridge with the blue sky and then this orangish red brightness. It's stunning. It's just stunning. I remember the first time I ever saw the bridge, I think, was in the James Bond movie, A View to a Kill, which is the first James Bond movie I ever saw. And there's Christopher Walken. He's in the blimp. And him and Grace Jones are in the blimp, and they're flying over San Francisco, and they say, "What a view to a kill." And, you know, I think that was the first time I ever really saw the Golden Gate Bridge before I went there. And then we took a trip there in '96 to San Francisco, and we drove across the bridge and spent some time in Santa Rosa. And then I moved. Oh, and then 10 years later, I moved to San Francisco in '96. Oh, that's interesting. So anyway, that's my side story about the bridge. I don't know if I'm a very good tour guide, because I just ramble about all this other stuff. But I hope you enjoyed the pictures of the bridge, because while I was there in 2012, I not only photographed the bridge and the fireworks show, but I also photographed different parts of San Francisco. And I loved photographing North Beach. So I wanted to show you the pictures of North Beach that I took in 2012. And what I love about North Beach is there's so many different lights and buildings with neon signs and different colored lights. And you walk up these hills and you get these amazing views of the city, and you can take near far shots. So you've got the near buildings and then the far away cityscape in the background, and then you've got bridges in the background, and there's just so much variety in North Beach that I just absolutely love it. And of course, North Beach is one of my favorite parts of San Francisco because so many movies have been filmed there. The Wedding Planner, Basic Instinct, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, Princess Bride, no, not Princess Bride, The Princess Diaries, The Hulk, just so many movies have been filmed. I can't even name them all. So it's just, you know, when you walk into North Beach, it's like walking onto a movie set. It's like, I've seen this area in 1,000 different movies. So it's just very cool to walk around and just be there, and it's like being on a film set. And so, but I love walking around North Beach because, again, there's just so much to see and so much to photograph. And I've always found North Beach to be really friendly with people. And so when I would set up my tripod, because I was taking a picture of a building or something like that, people would come up to me and start talking to me, say, "Hey man, what are you photographing?" And I tell them, "I'm photographing this building. Are you doing it for work? Are you doing it for fun?" And I say, "I'm doing it for fun. I just like taking pictures of stuff." And they talk to me and I talk to them, and you get to meet people because, you know, you just look like you're doing something fun or important, and people come up to you and talk to you. And they're always, you know, my experience has always been positive. They've always been really nice to talking to me. And as I was telling you in another video, I was photographing part of North Beach in this building, and this guy came up to me and said, "Hey, if you want a really great view, come up to my apartment and take a picture from the roof." And so I did. I didn't know this person. I just went up to their roof and, you know, met the roommates and said hi. And then I went up to the roof, and there's this amazing view of North Beach, you know, all the way from the west side to the east side down to downtown. And I photographed it in different sections, then glued all the pieces together in Photoshop. But I got this amazing view of North Beach. And then I went back down and joined his friends at the party and talked for a while, and then I left. But that's the way it goes. You know, when you set up a tripod, sometimes people come up to you and talk to you, and magic happens, and you know, you get to photograph. Thank goodness that person was nice. But you know, I got to photograph that view, and just magic things happen when you're photographing the city. And one of the things I loved about photography is that when I was photographing the city, I had a purpose. It wasn't just going out and sightseeing and see what things look like. I had a purpose. You know, I was on a mission to get a great picture. So I was hunting. It was a kind of hunt. It was like a safari, an adventure. And what I was hunting for was a great spot to photograph pictures. I was looking for the perfect shot, and I was hunting for it. So it did. It felt like an expedition that I was on. I would go on these photography expeditions around the city, and I would find these great spots around North Beach or wherever, and get these pictures. And what I have no interest in going out hunting, but the way the camera is, what the cool thing is about the camera is it doesn't shoot out, it shoots in. So I'm getting a picture, and I can hang those trophies on the wall, my photographs, for people to see. And so, you know, it's kind of like hunting, but you're hunting in instead of out. That's the way I've always looked at it. And what's significant about this trip to San Francisco in 2012 is this is the last time that I went on a photograph expedition. I haven't been around setting up my tripod around the city or any nature since 2012. I really haven't. I've been writing, and I've been enjoying filming Instagram and YouTube videos, and it's been a long time since I've taken pictures like this. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to show you all these pictures, is because it's significant to me at this time in my life, because it's the last time that I photographed anything, really. And so I really should go on another adventure where I photograph the city, because I really enjoyed that. Anyway, that's why this is significant for me, for these pictures. Is this the last time that I photograph? And hopefully I'll get out there and photograph some more, because I kind of miss it. I enjoyed going out and getting photographs and then bringing them back and then showing people, you know, what I had done, what I had gotten, you know, my trophies. Anyway, it was fun. I mean, mostly the people have been nice. There was one instance where in 2012 on this trip, I was photographing in front of my hotel that I was staying at, because I was staying at the Westin St. Francis hotel, which is a really fun hotel to stay at. And here's a picture of the view out my hotel room of Union Square. And this is a picture of the stairwell inside the Westin St. Francis hotel looking down. So I had gone out and photographed a bunch of the city. I was tired. I was ready to go back into the hotel and go to sleep. And I was getting these last shots of the cable car. I wanted to photograph the cable cars going by. And there was these orange pylons on the side of the road. And I remember, for no particular reason, this person thought it would be funny to pick up the pylon and throw it at me while I was taking picture of the cable cars. And I was like, he's going to throw that at me. I just can sense it. I know he's going to throw it at me. And he picked it up and he threw it and he went, ha ha. And walked off. I was like, come on, really? And that's how I ended that night. You know, everything had gone great that night, and you have to throw a pylon at me. So, you know, you never know. You get a great shot, and then you get pylons. Photographing in the city is always an adventure. So those are the pictures that I wanted to show you from the rest of my trip to San Francisco in 2012. And I got to tell you, I'm really happy that I have a place to put these pictures and a platform to show you them on. Because otherwise they're just, you know, not doing anything. And so it means a lot to me that you're looking at these pictures and I get to share them with you, because I really enjoyed taking them. And to have a place on social media to share them with you, man, it just feels great. It feels great to get them out into the world, and I really appreciate you taking the time to look at them. It's really cool. So if you want to comment on them, or if you have any thoughts or anything, I would love to read your thoughts in the comments. And I have lots of other pictures from other stuff to show you in other videos. I have lots of other things to talk about in other videos, and I will keep making videos every week. And I'm just amazed that, what did I start this YouTube channel in April? And I've consistently every week been able to film a video and post it for you weekly and consistently. And I'm just so proud of myself. I'm just so proud of myself that I've actually been able to be consistent about this. And so it's actually a really fun break from reality or life to just, take a moment and share stuff with you. And anyway, I'm really enjoying doing these YouTube videos, and I really appreciate you watching them. So I will be back with another YouTube video next week, and we'll talk about stuff, or I'll show you stuff, and you'll comment about stuff, and anyway, we'll have a good time. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.